Thank you, Ms. Grain. Our next item of business is a proclamation recognizing February 2021 as Black History Month, and this is also an action item.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley Evans School District 6 approves the proclamation recognizing February 2021 as Black History Month as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. Before we go any further, Mr. Talley, would you like to read this proclamation for us, please?
Of course. Proclamation recognizing February 2021 as Black History Month. Whereas Black History Month recognizes and celebrates the significant contributions of Americans tracing their ancestry to Africa, and whereas the observance of Black History Month has been proclaimed by every U.S. president since 1976, and whereas 44.1 million Americans and 614 students in the Greeley Evans School District 6 are of African descent, making up nearly 3% of the student body. And whereas Black History Month is celebrated every February as an homage to the achievements of Black Americans who have shaped American history, from Buffalo Soldiers to the first Black president and vice president of the United States of America. And whereas the evolving history of Black residents of the United States is the history of our country. And whereas District 6 is an institution of public education and it is imperative that our schools teach the history of Black Americans and their experience living in the United States. And whereas in the District 6 strategic plan, there is a strong commitment to cultural excellence and implicitly recognizing the accomplishments and contributions of Black Americans in the past, present, and future. And whereas the contributions of Americans who are of African descent in the fields of science, politics, medicine, education, art, music, writing, public service, and many other careers have greatly enhanced and advanced these fields, improving the lives of all Americans. And whereas the art, food, dance, music, and culture of Black Americans is embedded in the colorful weave in the fabric of the American culture. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Education of Greeley Evans School District 6 recognizes and celebrates February 1st through February 28th, 2021 as Black History Month and encourages all employees, students, families, and community members to honor our citizens of African descent and recognize their immense contributions to our communities, our state, our nation, and our world. Given under my hand and the executive seal of Weld County District 6, this 25th day of January 2021. Mr. Michael Matthews, President.
Thank you, Mr. Talley. Before we open this up for board members to comment and discuss, Dr. Pilch, would you like to say anything on this proclamation?
Thank you, President Matthews. I appreciate the board taking this under consideration, and I know that you all will approve it tonight. And thank you, Mr. Talley, for reading the proclamation. I think as we launch into this next month of instruction here in District 6, you will see a wide variety of activities taking place in our schools with an emphasis on recognizing the significant contributions of those folks who are of African descent and who really are people of color. I know I have been invited to read in a classroom in relation to just a multicultural reading day. So I think you'll see a lot of celebration this month, and I appreciate the board's support in considering this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Mr. Talley.
This is amazing, I guess, obviously. But I think I have to take a moment and just recognize, yes, we have Black History Month every year, the same month every year. But I think this month is this year is especially important that we honor our individuals of any color. But we right now are recovering from a lot in our country. And I think that it's important that we show our students and our community members and our parents that we see you, we hear you, and we recognize you, and you are important, regardless of your background, regardless of your beliefs, of your color, anything. But I know that we have a fairly large African population here in Greeley Evans, and it is in Garden City. I can't ever leave them out. But it is super important that we give them the acknowledgement and the recognition that they deserve here in District 6. So I guess to any parent that may be watching or may be listening, and a parent if you have a student of color, we really appreciate you, and we really hope that here at Greeley Evans District 6 that we are giving you what you need to be successful, and that we're giving your students what they need to be successful. And we know that there's work to be done here in District 6, but we have come so far, and we have so far that we are willing to go. So any advice, or if you need anything from any of us here, up here, or in the schools, I know that everyone is willing to work for you and work with you to make sure that your experience here in Greeley Evans is amazing. So in terms of this proclamation, I am just super amazed and honored, I guess I could say, to be a black man in America, and a black man in Greeley, and a black man on this board. Brings me a lot of pride to know that I have people in this district that have my back, and that I have people in this community that have my back, and people in the state that have my back. So thank everyone for everything that you all do, and all your recognition towards our marginalized populations, and all the work that you do to be very inclusive and equal for everyone. I'm super proud and amazed. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Talley. Ms. Solis.
So I'm glad that we are recognizing this as a district. I look forward to the moment where it's not just a month. It's just part of our everyday life, that we recognize the contributions of people of color in our community all year round, learning about all of that history, especially in this community. We have a lot of people of color that have been here from the beginning doing the hard work, and a lot of times they go unrecognized. So I appreciate this effort, and I look forward to making it where it's just all the time that we recognize the people that have worked hard to bring our community together, our state, and our country, and all those valuable contributions that people have done before us. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Solis. Mr. Hafley.
I couldn't agree more with the proclamation and what it stands for. And one of the things that I know that Ms. Solis and Mr. Talley believe in is that the idea of having critical thought in processing all the things that have occurred during the course of the last 400 years is incredibly important. But I think sometimes we forget about the leaders on this board, and I will reference Ms. Solis and Mr. Talley during the course of since June, that they have stepped to the front, and they have been leaders at every turn, and people have looked to them for guidance as well as leadership, and each of them should be very proud of it. And I know that I'm proud to serve with both of you, as are the rest of the board. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hafley. You know, some of this history is hard to look at. It's hard. Some of this history is history we would rather forget, but it is history we need to appreciate and need to see, and let it inform how we go forward together. And so I'm delighted that we are recognizing this month as Black History Month. And Ms. Crane, will you give us a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mrs. Mash?
Aye.
Mr. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Mueller? Aye. Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Mr. Talley?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.